keep seeing my brother in crowds, but he died last year. My name is Daniel. I'm 31, and for the past 6 months, I've been seeing my brother. In crowds, in reflections, in the corners of my vision. The only problem is, my brother Adam died last year. It started a few weeks before the anniversary of his death. I was leaving work one evening, tired and half-focused, when I saw him, standing across the street at a bus stop, wearing his old navy hoodie, hands in his pockets, like he always used to do. For a second, everything inside me froze. I blinked, and he was gone. I told myself it was just stress, lack of sleep. Maybe my brain saw someone who looked like him. But deep down, I knew what I saw. Because no one had that same posture, that same habit of tugging on his left sleeve when he was anxious. No one but Adam. Adam was my little brother, 3 years younger, full of light, mischief, and energy. He was the kind of person who made you believe the world wasn't as heavy as it felt, until the night it all fell apart. He was driving home from a late shift when a truck ran a red light. He died instantly. I still remember the phone call. My mother's voice breaking, the sound of the coffee mug slipping from my hand and shattering on the floor. For months after the funeral, I couldn't sleep. I'd replay that night again and again. What if he had left a minute earlier or later? What if I had called him that evening like I was supposed to? Grief is strange. It doesn't come all at once. It leaks. And sometimes, when it leaks long enough, it starts to blur the line between what's real and what's left of your mind. The second time I saw him, I was in a grocery store. I was walking down the cereal aisle when I heard someone laugh, a sharp, familiar sound that froze me mid-step. When I turned, I saw him again. Adam. He was standing at the end of the aisle, smiling at something on his phone. Same hoodie, same messy hair, same easy grin. I dropped the cereal box I was holding. It hit the floor with a dull thud, but I didn't move. He looked up, directly at me.
And for a split second, he smiled. Then he turned the corner and disappeared. I ran, pushed my cart aside, sprinted down the next aisle. Nothing, no trace, just an empty walkway and the faint smell of detergent. That night, I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? I barely believed myself. A week later, it happened again. I was on the subway, a crowded evening train, the kind where everyone stands shoulder to shoulder, lost in their headphones. When the doors opened at Maple Station, I saw him standing outside the train, looking right at me. Our eyes met, and I swear on everything I have, he mouthed my name. Before I could move, the doors shut and the train pulled away. I just stood there, heart pounding, watching him disappear into the blur of the tunnel. That night, I finally told Mom. She looked at me for a long time before saying softly, "You need rest, Danny. You're working too hard." But her hands were trembling. Then she said something I'll never forget. "I've been seeing him too." I stared at her. "What do you mean?"
In crowds, she whispered. In reflections. I thought it was my imagination. But sometimes, I feel like he's trying to tell us something. Her voice broke on the last word. I didn't know whether to be relieved that I wasn't crazy or terrified that maybe we both were. I started keeping a notebook. Every time I saw him, I wrote it down. The time, place, what he was wearing, what he was doing. At first, it was random. The park, the grocery store, a coffee shop.
But then I noticed something strange. Every sighting happened within a 5-mile radius of our old family home, the house we'd grown up in, the one Mom sold after the accident. I hadn't been back there since the funeral, but on a Sunday morning, something in me said, go. The house was empty, boarded up, waiting for new buyers. The yard was overgrown. The mailbox still had our last name faded on the side. I walked up the front steps, and before I even touched the door, I felt it, that electric chill running down my spine. Inside, the air smelled like dust and memory. Sunlight cut through the cracked blinds in golden streaks. And then I heard it. A sound I hadn't heard in a year. A soft whistle. Adam's whistle. The same tune he'd always hum when he was bored. I turned toward the sound and saw him, standing at the end of the hallway. He looked the same. The same hoodie. The same eyes.
Couldn't breathe. Adam? I whispered. He smiled. Small, sad, familiar. And then he said it, clear as day. Stop blaming yourself. I stumbled back. My heart was hammering in my ears. You're not real, I whispered. He took a step closer. You didn't cause it, Danny. You have to let it go. Tears filled my eyes. How are you here? He smiled again, almost peaceful. Because you keep holding on. The sunlight shifted, hitting him like glass, and for a moment, I saw right through him. And then, he was gone. When I left the house, I didn't look back. The world outside felt lighter, the air clearer. For the first time in a year, I slept through the night. A few days later, I went through his old things, the boxes Mom kept in storage. Inside, I found his journal. The last page stopped me cold. It was dated the morning of the accident. He'd written, Danny keeps blaming himself for everything. I need to tell him none of this is his fault. If something ever happens to me, I hope he knows that. I read it over and over until the words blurred, and then I understood. Maybe I wasn't seeing Adam in crowds. Maybe I was seeing the parts of him that never really left. The guilt, the love, the memory, trying to find peace. Maybe that's what grief does. It doesn't haunt you. It reminds you to heal. Now, sometimes when I walk through the city and I think I see him in a passing reflection or a crowd at the train station, I don't run anymore. I smile. Because maybe he's still around. Not as a ghost, but as a reminder that love doesn't disappear just because life does. It lingers until you're ready to let it go.